Good evening and welcome to Let's Talk Shop with Russ. We're here tonight and all the gang should be clicking in at any moment and joining me.
Hello, everyone.
How are you all doing tonight? I have the chat open over here. So Dan Inge from Dan Inge Woodworking is in the chat over there already tonight. We have quite a few people watching. And we're also live over on Facebook. So let me get to that over there real quick. Live over on. All right, so I've got it set up so I can see the chat over on Facebook also. And we're also live over on Twitch. So everybody can see us on Twitch, Facebook, or here on YouTube. Pretty cool, pretty cool. We have Jarod from the Dad Cave is going to be our guest tonight. Jarod, everybody will introduce themselves and first, and then you'll be last, because you're the guest. I don't really have any announcements other than I'm working on my next cooking video that's coming out, and that will be out here pretty. Boy, somebody's got a squeaky damn chair.
That's mine. I had to go get my little foot rest thing to put my feet up on. Yeah, it squeaks.
I don't want to hear it anymore. I'm fixing to mute you. So, but anyway, I have my next cooking video going on. I'm going to try to get that posted this week. Just been real busy. And plus I've been playing around on my CNC. So the first thing I want to show you is that I was able to do was my little, just give me sawdust, lots of sawdust. So I made that.
And everywhere.
Yep. So I was able to make that. That turned out really nice. I really like that. So, and actually, I'm going to be giving one of these away. Not this particular one, because this is part of a failed attempt on something. So I just wanted to make sure it would work before but I'm going to be giving one of these away tonight to somebody. So, but yeah, it turned out pretty good. I really like the way it looks. That one turned out. And then also, I've been playing around. If anybody saw me post that little video of, I made this is the Mac Daddy, a DC Comics calendar. Has Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Robin is on there. A lot of Joker, Bane, Riddler, Penguin. There's a lot of the characters in DC Comics on there.
So how long did it take to cut out?
This took about 5 hours.
Looks awesome.
Yep. This took about 5 hours.
Are you going to paint it in and stuff for us? And
not this one, because this one has some errors on it also. But now it took me 2 attempts. So the next one, which will be my 3rd attempt, should be pretty well perfect. But there's a learning curve because the settings that some people are using, I can't use on my POS CNC. So
that's something I've found out. Sometimes multiple attempts to get it right.
I'm using the same settings, but for some reason my CNC doesn't like those settings because it's a piece of crap. So I will be I guarantee you by the end of this year, I will have a brand spanking new digital wood carver CNC. That is coming. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. For right now, I'm just playing around with this piece of crap that I have. And trust me, I'm going to take the stepper motors off the controller and the router, because that's the only thing that's any good. Those are things that I purchased and put on it. And I'm going to literally take a sledgehammer to it because I want to feel that. And I'm going to bust it up and I'm going to sell it for scraps. I swear.
We're going to see a video?
Yeah, I'll even video it. I'll even video of me busting it up. It's a piece of crap.
I can think of a place where you could post that video.
Yeah, it's such a It's a piece of crap, and I've had nothing but problems with it. Nothing but problems. I mean, I will do everything to make sure it's perfectly set and everything's tight and everything. I'll make one run, and by the end of that run, things will come loose. And I've even tried putting you're not supposed to, but I've even tried putting Loctite red on it, and it's actually vibrated the Loctite red loose. So, but anyway. But yeah, I'm looking at the digital wood carver. I can't do it right now. I just got through, as a lot of y'all know from the show, I remodeled my kitchen, and then I had problems with my truck. And so that was a lot of money out of my pocket. But toward the end, we're going to remodel our bathroom. And I promised my wife I would do that. And we're going to do that too. And so have been recovered from it by probably July, August, September of this year. And I will be purchasing me a digital wood carver. I've looked at a lot of them, and that's the one I've chosen. I really, really like it. I've seen it numerous times in operation at the different wood shows. And Laney Shaughnessy, a friend of mine, actually works for them, and he does all their training and stuff. And he actually, like when you buy one, he goes to your house when it gets there. He goes there and helps you assemble it and teaches you how to use it. So that's part of the package. All right, we have what?
You could have him on your show.
Yeah, he's been on my show before.
I mean, setting up your CNC.
Oh yeah, we could do it on one Saturday and have him here and have the live show when we're setting it up. I will have to talk to him about that and find out what
live stream.
Yeah, we'll figure out where what he's doing at the time. So we could do it on one Saturday. So anyway, What If I Could is out there in the chat. James Parker, John Schaffner. John Schaffner says, everyone knows happy wife, happy life. Yes, I've been promising her we're going to redo that bathroom for quite some time. And I promised her the kitchen, and I did the kitchen. And it needed to be done. Don't get me wrong. The flooring we had in there was the old square vinyl tile, and it just looked like crap. It was old.
Well, don't you have to have a CNC to redo a bathroom?
I probably could have got away with it until you opened your mouth. Because she watches this show, and now she's going to realize, oh, you don't have to have one?
Well, that's what we're saying. You have to have one, or you can't do it.
I second. You have to have a CNC to remodel a bathroom.
Right,
guys?
It would have been impossible without it.
Right, guys?
Absolutely.
Path 1961 is out there in the chat. Ken McCrory is out there in the chat. Chris Nealon. All those people are out there in the chat watching us tonight. What If I Could? I think I said him before, so they're all out there. Let's see who's over on Facebook real quick before we get Andy Godwin, Amber Knowles, my daughter, Richard Kuhn, blades, they cut very well. 3 stitches for my wife. Richard Kuhn says, okay, what kind of blades did she cut herself with? Frank Snyder, Annette Johnson, Tammy Sparkman, LaJoy is all out. They're all out there in the chat over on Facebook. Yeah, what she cut herself with, Richard? Richard Kuhn is Dr. Paul Bearer, for those of you. Him and I did a video during Christmas time of not this past year, 2009, but in 2018.
One of your ghoul friends, huh, Russ?
Yes, one of my ghoul friends. Yes, one of my ghoul friends. All right, so that's all I've got to do. Let me talk about my wonderful sponsors, and they are Devobal Technologies for web design, development, and hosting. Visit devobal.com. FastCap, innovative product for the professional woodworker. Go to fastcap.com. Rockler, 60 years in woodworking. Create with confidence. Visit rockler.com. Bearwood Supply Company, your best choice for hard-to-find woodworking supplies. Go to bearwood.com. Klingspor, the sanding specialist, woodworkingshop.com. Seiko, the scroll saw specialist, seiko.com. And Scrollnado, desk collection for your scroll saw. You can find them on Amazon. And Brenda, tell us where we can find you.
Well, you'll find me all over the internet as Brenda G's Designs. I'm on YouTube, I'm on Teesprings, I'm on Makers Media Network, Instagram, BitChute, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, probably a bunch of other places that I forgot about. But just look for Brenda G's Designs and you'll find me. On YouTube, I do a live stream on Thursday nights with Matt Haas from Awesome Wood Things at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And I also do comedy and crafts on my channel.
Cool. Richard Coon says she cut her with Ginsu, the Ginsu knives, new Christmas knives he bought her. They never need sharpening, the Ginsu. They're actually pretty good knives. I actually own some, so they are pretty good knives. Dixon.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dixon Hoffman. You can find me at Hoffman Signs and Decals 3dprinting.com.
Great. Al.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, all of you around the world. I'm all messed up right now. I guess it's because my environment is kind of different. I'm sitting in Jarod's shop, or it feels like it. But anyway, I can be found Kilroy79763. I stream on Twitch at 2 p.m. on Sundays. Not certain about tomorrow yet. And YouTube, Kilroy79763. And I just got a Twitter account. Somebody suggested that I get a Twitter account. Kilroy79763. In fact, if you do a search for Kilroy79763, you'll find me all over the place. Anyway, great to be here.
Great to have you, Paul.
Thank you.
Paul Corliss from Paul's Messy Workshop. Paul's Messy Workshop on YouTube, on Instagram, and sometimes on paulsmessyworkshop.com when it's working, but that's another story. And if you go to Paul's Messy Workshop on YouTube, there's a video there that shows how clean my shop is, because I'm working on my workbench. But really, if you pan the camera 8 inches any one direction, it wouldn't look the same. So
you got it clean just for that shot.
the camera shows what you want the camera to show.
Exactly. Years ago when I first started doing the videos, I got all that one corner of my shop cleaned up and took a picture of it. And then I used the green screen and put that picture up every time. And a guy asked me one day, he says, "How in the heck do you keep your shop that clean?" It's like, man, I don't see how you can do that. I started laughing. I don't. That's a picture I'm standing in front of on the green screen. So worked out pretty well. Yeah. Jim.
Jim Bashir from Driveway Workshop, and looking forward to grilling Jarod here tonight, I guess.
Grilling Jarod, yeah. Somebody said Jarod from Subway, and I went like, no, he's in jail. Chris.
Hey, gang, Chris here from the Old Cranky Workshop. Find me on YouTube and Facebook. And then next weekend, you'll find me down in Tampa enjoying some sunshine. So, but that's about it. Nothing going on here. Winter is still got us in its grasp, and shop is still shut down. So
next week or the following week, the first week of March?
Nope, next weekend.
Oh, next weekend. Okay. Should be nice weather next weekend. I know it's supposed to rain like Wednesday or Thursday of this week. But
don't say that. We're flying in on Tuesday.
Well, it is, but it's our rain down here in this time of year is not like an all-day rain. It kind of gets overcast and cloudy, and then you'll have a shower come through. It may last 10 or 15 minutes, and it's gone.
Okay, well, use your powers. I know there are many and great to keep the clouds at bay.
Yep, but yeah, I did see that on the news thing today that it's possibility of rain next week a little bit. But like I said, our winter rains don't last all day. They're little tiny. I put it this way: it's enough rain to get the damn dirt wet so that it sticks to your feet. That's about all it does.
Okay,
so,
I can live with it.
Yep.
How long have you seen the weather forecast out, Russ? Have you seen it for 2 weeks? Because 2 weeks I'll be down in the lake.
No, I only do a week because it changes.
I'll ask next weekend then.
Yep, you have to ask me next weekend. All right, so Jarod from the Dad Cave, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
We're doing real good, or at least I'm doing good. I don't know about how these jokesters are doing, but I'm doing real good.
And yes, Jarod, not to be confused with the Subway guy. The jeweler's okay, but not the Subway guy.
Right. Right. Yeah. 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 Mr. Jarod from Subway got himself in a little mess there for a while, so that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
So are you in your shop? Yes.
I am actually I'm in what I call the Dad Cave.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have a wife, I have children, I have family, so it can't be a man cave. So it has to be the Dad Cave.
Okay.
So that's actually where I'm at right now.
Cool. Yeah, I noticed you had that TV behind you. What is that underneath the TV? Is that That's a table or a bench?
Yeah, that's actually it's something I brought back from the office. I
Oh.
I used it to raise my computer monitors where I was sitting.
Oh, okay.
I work for a county government that shall remain nameless that doesn't want to pay for computer mounts, the proper ones. So I had to build one. So.
Yeah. James Parker wants to know, is my workbench clean? Yeah, it actually is clean right at this moment because this afternoon I cleaned it after the last project I did. So, but it won't last. It don't last. So
I cleaned my shop today just for the show tonight, but at the same time I got another project to start on, so it'll be dirty come tomorrow.
That's it. I clean it off, and as soon as I start the next project, everything comes back. Then it's a never-ending process of. My wife went, "Well, if you put stuff back after you use it," I'm like, "Yeah, right." That's going to really happen. First off, like for a drill, for instance, you might need the drill throughout the entire project. You can't put it back every time you use it. Right. So you leave it on the workbench, and then you got all the bits and everything. So, yeah, that's impossible. So I get to ask probably the first question, and I think it's pretty synonymous that I asked, is what got you into woodworking?
I think it really, my grandfather always was doing some sort of tinkering as a kid growing up. And so I kind of picked up, the idea from him, but I really didn't get into it until my wife and I actually bought our house. And then it turned into kind of like hey, I saw this cool thing on Pinterest. Can you make this? Well, yeah. And she's like, no, you can't. I'm like, well, sure I can. Then let me go down to Home Depot. Let me, spend a few $100s on tools and hold my beer, and I'll be right back. So that's kind of how it started. And initially I was just making things for friends and family members. And then as people started seeing what I was doing, when I was posting it online, I started getting calls or messages for other things. And so it kind of turned into now while it's still a hobby, it's also almost a full-time job in itself. So.
That's what it ends up. It starts off as a hobby, and then the next thing you know, you're doing so much damn crap. It might as well be a full-time job because of all the time it's consuming. It's sucking out of you, so to speak.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I find myself in here sometimes in the evenings when I go home from work, and also on the weekends. Sometimes I'll spend the whole day in here just getting projects knocked out.
Yeah. All right, Jim, you got a question for him?
There we go. Yeah. What about that cork tabletop? We've already had questions in the
yeah, I noticed that
about it. That was one of the things I wanted to ask you about. When you were pouring that epoxy and stuff out, how did you keep the bubbles out of it?
Well, I got most of them out. I didn't get all of them, but honestly, with the corks and everything, it really kind of helped to hide the imperfections. It was really interesting. I guess just based on the way the corks looked and the way the color of them, the way that was, so you really didn't see it. But I did go over with my torch and took out most of the air bubbles that were there. But looking back on it, the one thing I didn't do, and I probably should have, even though I said to myself, it's like I should probably glue these corks down first before I start pouring. I said,
Yep.
No, nothing's going to happen. It's fine. And why should I do that? Well, as I started pouring and I started getting a pool of epoxy there, all of a sudden the corks started lifting a little bit. So it really started getting a little hairy there for a minute. And I even had my wife out there, and she had like little, I had wooden dowels, and I'm like, push that one down. It's like, that one's moving, push that one down too. We were trying to push everything down and keep it level while it was solidifying.
What is that? What, you were trying to play whack-a-mole?
Whack a cork.
Exactly. Whack a cork.
How much epoxy did it take to do that thing? Because that stuff's not cheap.
It's not cheap. So a funny story about that. You can't go down, at least where I'm at out here in California, you can't go down to Home Depot and buy a gallon supply of epoxy. They do sell it in smaller ones, but they don't have it in the gallon one. Although the interesting thing was I found it on their website and it said it was in stock. So I went down there and I asked the guy, and the guy was just like, hey, he says, were you that guy that was here last night looking for that? Because I still have some. I'm like, well, no, but hey, if you still got some, I'll take it. So he went, he looked, he's just like, yeah, it's right here. And it was up on a high shelf. It wasn't even one of the regular stocked items. I think it was probably something that was discontinued. And so it was a total of 1 gallon. I ended up having to use, I think, about 2 gallons of epoxy. But the problem was that when I bought it, it actually wasn't epoxy. Somebody had actually used it, filled it with water, and returned it.
Oh, wow. Really?
So I bought it. I initially bought a full gallon on Amazon, and it wasn't enough to cover the corks. So that's why I went to Home Depot, picked that up, and it was not fun. I was not happy. And the bar was set to be done and delivered the very next day, and I was up till 9, 10 o'clock at night trying to get epoxy to cure. But,
what size was it?
I'm trying to remember the dimensions. It was, I think the total length of the bar, I think, was about 6 feet. It was like 6 feet by 2 feet.
Wow.
So it was a pretty big bar. But it was that whole deal with the epoxy, that was absolute madness.
Yeah, I've got a request. Actually, for everybody out there in the chat, Jarod has got 94 viewers or 94 subscribers on his channel. If we can get him up over 100, I think he can get a special name out of the deal. But you guys go over
You
and
get
do
your
that
specialized link.
Yes,
Yep.
exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. I just seen that.
Yes. So if y'all wouldn't mind, because we have like 38 on one, we've got 8 or 10 over on Facebook. There's enough with everybody to put him over 100 without any problem. If y'all would be so kind to go over there, if you haven't already, and subscribe to him, I know he would appreciate it, and I would appreciate it. So
I also want to shout out Dave Carson, the chief, who's out there in the chat right now. Hey, Chief. He's a personal friend of mine. I keep dragging these people over here, I guess.
When you call him chief, is in reference to police or fire?
Well, actually, he was the chief information officer of the college.
Okay.
But I've always called him chief because he's always been my boss.
Right.
So, yeah, but it actually turns out that he became the chief information officer where I used to work, where I work, and where he used
Good to have you out there, David Carson. Thank you for joining us. Yep. He says, hey, Al. Ken McCrory is still out there. Chris Nealand. Aussie Man is out there. He's back. Jim Dockrell. Hi, Jim. Trouble's in the shop or in the chat. Jim Dockrell. Good to have y'all all out there. So Leonard Davis, Leonard, whichever one you want to call. So he says, sorry, I was already a subscriber. Okay. Hey, there's nothing you can do about that.
That's a good thing.
That's fine for me too. I'm totally fine with that.
96 now.
3 more people.
He's up to 99 now.
Woohoo!
Wow.
Yes, 99.
Last I saw was 97.
Yep, I see 99 now.
Oh,
And also,
since
you're over there it is. Great. Yay! Woo!
Yep.
For the
Well,
win.
that's awesome. Thank you all. I appreciate it.
No problem. Yeah, and also, people don't forget to do the thumbs up on the show. I know you are a little slacking tonight, so you haven't done the thumbs up yet.
Already got mine in.
Good. So, yeah, I need you to do me a favor and do thumbs up for me. I'd appreciate it.
Smash it!
Smash it. Anybody got any more questions for Jarod?
Yeah. What's this next project you say you're going to be working on tomorrow?
Well, so I'm building another bar, and this one's actually for my wife. I think somebody mentioned it earlier, happy wife, happy life. So yeah, to keep her happy. She's been wanting a bar for quite some time. So I'm going to be working on that. I am going to do videos of it and put it up on YouTube. It's going to be a multi-part playlist. It's going to take me probably several weeks to get done, but that's going to be about it. It's going to be a 7 foot long bar, 2 feet wide. In fact, we were just going over the design today, and the design has changed probably about 6 or 7 different times. Not only from the way it looks and also the material, but I think we finally got a finalized idea now. So that's going to be the next one I'm starting. And then a small one for myself too, and that's a wall-mounted bottle opener with the magnet in it. I don't get the chance to do much for myself, so anytime I can make something small, I'll do it. Something I can knock out in a day.
I was watching your video on your when you restored the coffee table, or refinished it actually.
Yeah.
Man, you did a pretty good job on stripping that thing down. I'm looking at that going like, wow.
Oh, it was a lot of work.
I can tell. I'm like, trust me, I've refinished some furniture in my lifetime, and that is about the biggest pain in the derriere right there, is just getting it stripped and ready and prepped to whatever you're going to put back over it. So, yeah.
Well, the funny thing about that is I was at work, and it was a Friday night. I just got off work, and I had seen somebody post on Facebook Marketplace. They were just getting rid of the coffee table. They didn't want any money for it. They just wanted to get rid of it. So I frantically messaged them, and luckily it was on my way home from work. And so I swung over there, picked it up, and they were like, "Oh, so are you, wow." And he's like, "I didn't think anybody would come take it. I thought I'd just have to throw it away." And I'm like, "Oh no," I said, "I'm going to refinish it." And I thought to myself, it's like, yeah, I can knock this out in a weekend.
Right.
Did not happen.
Yeah. It looks from the video I'm watching, it looks like it was in the wood itself was in pretty good shape.
Yeah. And actually when I was doing it, it's kind of a flashback. I don't know if anybody had ever watched The Price is Right, at any one time, but they always had the company on there, Broyhill. There was always one of the furniture companies that was giving away all the dining room sets and things like that.
Right.
And that was actually the manufacturer of the piece.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it had the sticker inside the drawer and everything. And but yeah, it was in pretty good shape, and it was just something that they were getting rid of. And so I, without asking my wife, because that's where it went into our living room. So I went ahead and sent it, brought it home, and I said, "Hey, by the way, I got something for you." And I'm sure she was probably thinking flowers or something like that, but it wasn't. I'm like, "I got you a table." So
it turned out really nice. It looks good.
It could have been worse. It could have been, "Hey, honey, look, I brought you the CNC."
Yeah. That I'm going to need to remodel the bathroom with.
Mind if I store it in the garage?
Well, I'm gonna have to try that, Russ. I don't know how that will work out.
Broyhill is not high end like the most expensive, but Broyhill is a pretty good furniture brand. I've had furniture by Broyhill and seen some, and so it's probably the high end of the lower ends, or the mid grade, I should say. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and it was just I don't know. I like the design, and
it is pretty. It is pretty.
I like the shape, and then my wife picked out she picked out the knobs. That was all her doing. She picked the color and the knobs, and it actually came out pretty good.
I like that. Then now that was like a dark stain, right? Not paint.
Yeah, that was if I remember right, I think that was a Kona stain. That was the Varathane Kona.
I like dark stains like that. I think they look really well. I've got a big major project that my wife wants me to do too, but I'm not doing that until after the bathroom. We have a breakfast nook, which is a L-shaped bench, and then the table and 2 chairs. And she wants me to refinish. It's all made of oak, and she wants me to refinish it. And it's got some stains that I'm going to have to try to bleach out, but that I keep putting it off because that's going to be one of those. Yeah, I mean, this thing is huge. It's, well, let's put it this way. It barely, because of its design, we have a 4-foot opening coming from our dining room into our actual kitchen, where the breakfast nook is, and it will barely fit through that 4-foot door. And that's I had it on furniture dollies. I had 3 furniture dollies underneath it so we could roll it around like the L shape, because I didn't want to I could have took it apart. It comes in 2 pieces, but that's a pain in the butt to get back together. So I said, we can get it out of here. So we got it out, got it in, but it just barely fits through that 4-foot door fully assembled.
That's a huge task.
Yeah.
And if there's any molding or detail work or anything on there, that's going to be a pain in the butt to strip.
Yes. It ain't going to be fun. I'm not looking forward to it. Trust me. Anybody else? Everybody else is so quiet. Y'all got any more questions? Paul?
I had a couple of questions about the shot glass ski. First one's a comment, actually. Aussie said in Australia they put him on the bar and not a ski. So he's a little confused as to what the deal was with it. I'm wondering why only 4 holes. So,
Well, before I made that and before I did the video, I didn't even know what a shot ski was. I never heard of it. And my wife came home and she says, I got this person at work that wants to know if you can make a shot ski. And I thought, well, what the hell is a shot ski? So she shows me a picture and I'm like, okay. I said, that's weird, but okay, I could do that. And so I started looking at some designs online, and then I even found a company that makes them out of, they're actually real skis. They're made out of vinyl and they have them covered with resin and things like that. And it's just it was really kind of cool. So I thought, sure, I could do that. And I guess the reason I did 4 is because the length of board that I used, it was a 6-foot board, and the distance in between to put 4 shot glasses equally was basically about the same distance as most people are wide by their shoulders. So you could have 4 people standing there side by side and lifting it and taking the shot together. But
okay, all right,
yeah. So that was why. But yeah, in regards to the. To the comment about, down in Australia, they just put them on the bar. I'm the same way, I mean, I got my stuff in a glass. I don't need anything fancy to drink out of.
Yeah.
But they've actually been quite popular. It's one of my more popular videos on YouTube, and it's almost up to 1,000 views. So I'm pretty excited about that. And I'm getting just a lot of orders in. I just sent one out just a couple days ago. It was a Green Bay Packers one. And I got another one that I'm working on now. And I have a feeling I'm probably going to get a couple more orders here in the next few days. So not a bad problem to have.
No, not at all.
John Schaffner says, I don't know how to say this. Oxalic acid. Somebody help me out with the pronunciation of that word. Oxalic. Okay. See how far off I was?
It's spelled 101, by the way.
It's oxalic acid will get the stains out of oak. I will be consulting you, John, whenever I get ready to do that. Trust me. And then Aussie Man says, I guess the cooking show will be on the back. But no, I'm still doing the cooking show.
It's just simmering, right?
Yeah, I've got a video I'm working on right now to try to get out. It's a little bit. It's simmering. It's a little bit more complicated. Well, I won't say complicated than a woodworking video, but to get it to look good, it takes a lot more editing. I mean, if you're drilling a hole, you can just take a video of that and just put the hole, put the drill and you drill in the hole. But I've got multiple camera angles that I'm using in the cooking show. So therefore, that takes time to edit. Trust me.
Plus, nobody wants to see sawdust in the cooking.
No, nobody wants to see sawdust in your food. Not unless it's sawdusto.
Sawdusto, yes.
Sawdusto.
It just adds that little flavor.
Yeah, we were watching your videos, and Aussie Man says, "What power tool brands do you like? Ryobi?" Because you can tell you have a lot of Ryobi tools.
On that pan, it was like the whole shelves.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I have a lot of lime green in my garage, but I mean, sure, I could go out and I could spend a lot more money. I could, Milwaukee makes great tools, but you also, you're going to pay more for it.
I agree.
DeWalt's pretty good, but I mean, I look at it in the sense of, you can still make cool stuff and you can make stuff that people will like and buy and use, as long as your technique is good. If your technique is good and you're following the, basic rules or principles of trying to do things the right way, it doesn't matter if your table saw is $150 or $500, you should be able to, still make something nice out of it.
Mhm.
And I saw a video from DeResta today making a steel stool for Shaq, and he was using a Harbor Freight tack welder. So there you go, man. You know.
Yeah, well, I mean, I do what I can with what I got, and that's what it is. There may come a time where I might sneak some Milwaukee tools into my garage when the wife's not looking, but although I think I just gave myself away because I'm pretty sure she's watching too.
Well, if you go to the manager of the store, you can pay extra for a receipt that you can show your wife that you can actually say this is what I paid for it.
They do that, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
$5 more, you can get any receipt you want.
Yeah.
It's the wives and tax return program.
Yep.
So you can get whatever you want on it.
30 people over on Facebook watching us. Mike Lincolns, George Hash, Brian Warner, Gary Woods, Scott Leach, Bob Lee, Billy McCord, Lee Hodges. Thank you guys over there. And I just want to say a shout out to all y'all that are over there on Facebook watching the show. I appreciate you very much. Ron Buchanan, Chris Costine, Yvonne Reeser cast. Okay, I'm not even going to do this one. Jeff Nehrkarn, Nakorn. Hey, if I can mess up the oleic acid or whatever you call that stuff, I can sure mess up names. That's for sure. Yeah, I'm the world's worst at names. I don't know why, but I have a hard time pronouncing names very well. Oh, well, that's just me.
I never heard of oxalic acid before.
I hadn't either. So that's why I said John has a wealth of knowledge, to be honest. He's a good friend of mine. We've known each other for years, and he comes up with stuff. He put over there, we all know that you keep burning the water, Russ. Yeah, thanks, John. I appreciate that. But he's come up with some really good things that when I'll be talking about something, he has some information that is really, really, really good. So I think that Portal Woodworks is out there. And we wanted to go back to that Ryobi thing. Yes, you're right. Now, that being said, when Ryobi first came out, the cools were like a blue and orange, I believe it was.
Yep, I have the old kit.
Yeah, and they were really good. Well, they went through that period of time where Ryobi tools were really crappy. I'm talking about really crappy. I had a nice Makita Sawzall, and the part that holds the blade, back in those days, they didn't have the quick release. You had an Allen screw that had to set the blade in. Yeah, with an Allen wrench, and it broke. Well, I knew I could get the part, but I was in the middle of a job, so I just ran up to Home Depot real quick and bought. I'll just buy this Ryobi Sawzall to be able to go in and cut a few 2x4s for this remodel job we were doing. I buy the Sawzall, take it back, plug it in. I get about halfway through a 2x4, and the shaft that holds the blade snaps. I'm like, you're kidding me. I load it up, run back to Home Depot, exchange it, get another one, come back. I cut 2 more 2x4s, and when I'm in the third 2x4 to cut, it snaps that one too. And I'm like, so they went through a time period where they were really crappy tools. Now, since I think they've upgraded again, because since they went to this new green color and the new tools, I have a drill that I've had now for over a year, 3/8" 18-volt drill, and I have put that thing through. I've used 3/8 or half-inch bits. Now, it's a 3/8" drill, but you can get a larger bit that has a 3/8" shank.
And the shank's cut down.
Yeah, I've used some big bits on that thing just to see what it would take, and it has done fantastic. So, and we go to Harbor Freight too. I don't see anything wrong with some of the Harbor Freight tools. I have some of them that work just fantastic. I have a sander, orbital sander, and I've had that thing now for a couple of years, and it works just as good as the day I bought it. So, you do what you can.
A lemon out of Harbor Freight too, but I've got the drum sander, the lathe, and the 1-inch sander. They've been working fine all this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have all Ryobi, and they're all new Ryobi stuff, and they're pretty tough now. The Ryobi plus one or whatever they call it.
Now I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that they're equal to a Milwaukee or any of the other top end tool brands. No, but my point is, for a hobbyist or a DIY weekend DIY wire, they're fine. DIY or DIY, some do it yourself.
Weekend DIY.
It's whatever you can afford for your budget to get the job done.
I totally agree.
Ryobi was the only company that you could use all the old tools with the new batteries.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, really?
Yep. You didn't need no adapter. You could use all yours, because I got an old set from my kids when I was real young, and them were pretty tough. And like Russ was saying, they went through a bad period, and then all of a sudden they came out with the One Plus, and now they're pretty tough tools.
I've got my original blue one. It rides in the back of my truck in the toolbox. That's not locked. I figured it's 10 years old, 12 years old. If it gets swiped, it gets swiped. I'm not out anything. I got my money's worth out of it. Yeah. I dropped it off a roof, and it landed right at the back butt joint, right at the top. And I thought it was going to be destroyed. I went down, picked it up, pulled the trigger, it worked fine. It survived a 2-story fall. So,
oh, wow.
Right onto the cement.
Jim said something about rigid tools. I like rigid tools also. The advantage that rigid has is they're like the old Craftsman. They have that pretty well lifetime warranty, even on the batteries. If you register their batteries when you get the tool, they actually, each battery has a serial number on it. If you register them, that you have a lifetime warranty on the batteries. They'll give you
and you better register it too, or they won't honor it. Now, my deal with this with my shop was I got a rigid drill and those little hammer driver things in a kit with a couple of batteries, and then when I was able to get a planer and a jointer, they just both happen to be rigid, tools. So I had those, and then I found a spindle sander at a flea market for $20, and I grabbed it. It was only missing a couple of the attachments to it, so it's kind of like the shop's kind of grown up as rigid stuff, but it wasn't any, direct thing on my part of getting it like that. It just happened to happen.
Anybody in the chat have any questions for Jarod? And anybody here have any more questions for Jarod?
Oh, wait, somebody had one. Let me go back and find it here.
We have, even though it's turned cold, the oak trees are starting to pollinate because it's getting close to spring. And man, my sinuses and my throat is itching from all the pollen in the air. Trust me, I went out there this morning to go that one of my grandson's birthday, and my truck was covered. I had to take the water hose and wash it off. It was covered in yellow green. John Chapman says, today I'd sooner buy a Ryobi over a Portacable or a DeWalt. They've gone downhill since Stanley bought. Yes, I have noticed that both of those are not quite as the tools they used to be. Especially DeWalt seems to have gotten a little cheaper.
Aaron, what made you start making videos? Did you just have a camera laying around that wasn't doing anything? Hey, I should make a video with this.
Well, actually, or was it the fact that your wife caught the camera in the bedroom and said you couldn't do that anymore, so you had to find another?
You better move that camera out to the garage, buddy.
No. Actually, before I started even making YouTube videos, I was toying with the idea. I probably did maybe about a year of research and just kind of to find out more about like how YouTube and social media was being used by people for, for their crafts, for their businesses, things like that. But initially I was actually pretty close to making a cooking channel, believe it or not. That's my other hobby, I guess you could say. I enjoy cooking. Doesn't matter what it is. I barbecuing. The only thing I don't like is baking. I don't like baking, but that was actually what I was thinking about doing. I even had kind of a little Facebook Live video a couple of years ago, and I made a a quick dinner just as fun. And I was just like, well, it's actually pretty cool. But it wasn't until probably after I really started getting into the woodworking and people started going and wanting me to make stuff for them that I decided to go and start actually doing videos with it. I figured, why not? Just about everybody has smartphones now with cameras on them, and that's what I use. I film right there from my iPhone. It was a lot of fun. And my son had a senior project that he had to do before he graduated, and he decided to do a video. So we kind of did a crash course in video editing. And while I was teaching him, I was teaching myself, and I'm like, this is actually a lot of fun.
What do you use for editing software?
You know what? Actually, every single video that I've done so far has been on my iPhone. So I've used iMovie. And the only other thing that I've done is there's an app. It's called what's it called? It's called Vaunt, I think it is. That allows you to put subtitles onto video. So the subtitle feature in iPhone is not all that fantastic, and it doesn't give you a whole lot of creativity. So I'll film everything with my phone, and I'll create the video in iMovie, and I'll export it, and then I'll go in and add the subtitles afterwards.
Right.
So that's how I've been doing it. Although I just recently got my computer upgraded to Windows 10, I was holding off on it for quite some time, and I was having trouble getting video off my iPhone onto my computer so that I could edit on my computer. It would make it a whole lot faster and easier. So now that I've got that working, I'm going to actually go and start incorporating the second camera into my videos so I can do overhead shots as well as frontal shots.
So you can see that rabbit hole is starting to just get bigger and bigger. Huh? Almost big enough for you to completely fall into, right?
Yeah.
May I recommend that you start turning now?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Second camera.
Oh, that's a little one.
Oh, wow. What is that?
It's a
Is that called a
SQ11.
cube?
Yeah, it's a little cube, and it shoots 1080p.
Huh.
Wow. See, I have another a GoPro that actually shoots in. Well, it's not a GoPro. It's like an off-brand GoPro, but it shoots in 4K, and that's what I was going to use for my overhead shots.
Nice.
But that camera's even smaller than the one I have.
Yeah, I've got several knockoffs of the GoPro.
Paul,
Here's
is that
one
the
of them.
camera you've been hiding in the
Oh,
bedroom?
you know what?
Oh, they work really well too. I have one for $60, and it's right up there with the GoPro.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is called Extreme Pro HD. The only problem I have with this one, and it's this particular camera, and I don't know why it does it, but it does not like fluorescent lights.
Yeah.
Does it flicker?
Yeah, when you put it,
Frequency. Yeah.
yep, the frequency that it's set at when you put it in, like if I start turning it on, these are all fluorescent overhead lights, and you'll see that with those waves coming through.
Yeah.
The screen. So that's the only problem. Other than that, it does great. I use it out in the other part of the shop, but I got a little tripod for it.
Yeah, that's what mine looks like.
That one's a 1080p,
That might
right?
be the
Russ?
same one.
Yeah, this is 1080.
What was the cube that Paul had? What was the res on it? Was it 4K?
No,
Said it was
but it's
1080.
1080p.
Okay.
I have a really important question.
Yes.
What are you drinking? It looks like a whiskey sweet.
Yeah, the people out in the chat want to know.
Yeah, they
too.
all want to know what you're drinking.
I have
Yeah.
I have a doctor, and that's Canadian Mist, and the Colpay is 7-Up.
No, I got Jameson with me this evening.
Mm,
Good lad. Good lad.
only the best for the show,
Absolutely. Well, it's supposed to be sunny out here in California, but we had it raining all day. It was raining, it was cold, and I even had to close the garage in my shop today while I was out here working because it was like, God damn, it's getting cold. What the heck?
Yeah.
So I figured, well, you know what? A beer's just not going to work. I might as well get something that gets me to warm up too while I'm out here because it is pretty chilly in the garage right now.
Yeah, so, somebody else I know started a cooking show here recently.
Yeah, I watched that video actually, and I
You did?
I was checking it. I was just like, hey, I'm a food guy too, and certainly anything Southern cuisine, I'm always interested in. So I did check it out, and I was like,
Cool.
you know, it's like that's looking pretty good. I'm gonna have to try that.
Yeah. I actually had
Do
what?
I'm gonna go to the other end of it and do an eating show.
Yeah. I've had 3 people so far have actually cooked that recipe, and they all 3 told me they loved it. One of them was Lainey Shaughnessy's mother cooked it for Lainey Shaughnessy, and both of them said it was fantastic. So,
Yeah, I love fried pork chops, but I still got to try that one. It looks so good.
yeah, Aussie Man says change to LED lights. Yes, I'm aware of that, but you know what? There's so many lights in here that are fluorescent that I don't have. I now over in the other part of the shop, I did go LED over there. I ran into a special. They had the shop light, LED shop light single bulb shop lights at Home Depot on sale during the Christmas or right after Christmas for like a regular like $18 on sale for $12 a piece, and I bought some of them. But yeah, it's expensive to try to change out all these fluorescents that are in here, you know.
Yeah, it's worth it though. I mean, I have the these aren't the 4K, these are the 3000K LED shop lights from Home Depot in here, and they work great. I think it gives everything a nice natural color.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, and with these fluorescents, I have all daylight bulbs in them, so that it helps give it a much brighter instead of that orange or yellow tint that normally they have. I went to I hate that yellow tint that incandescent bulbs. I went to everything to daylight. Even in my house, it just makes everything look so much better, so much brighter.
Oh yeah, we changed the ones in our house too. The same thing to the daylight. It makes a huge difference.
James Parker wants to know, were the pork chops good? No, they taste like crap. I mean,
don't make them, right? Don't try
Pork
to
chops. Forget they were dry, right?
Well,
you don't want any.
Yeah, don't make these.
Jim Bashir says we need How to Make Moonshine channel. Actually,
that's the Davis option.
Yeah, actually, you're allowed to make moonshine in Florida, but only a certain amount. I forget how much it is. So, man, that's tickling my throat. Is driving me crazy. Let's see if there's anybody. Nope, there ain't no questions over here on Facebook.
There was a question.
What was your favorite project? Oh, sorry, guys.
My favorite project so far?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a challenge because I've even got a couple that I've done that I didn't video and that I didn't I didn't post on social media. It was actually done before all that, but
those count. Yeah.
I think honestly, I think that the bar is my favorite. 2 reasons. One is I got to that was the first time I got to use a nail gun, and that was just a lot of fun. It was just it's like, yeah, I really enjoyed that. But then also I get to see the bar practically every weekend because it's that's always for me one of the hardest things is sometimes I'll make something and I'm like, God, I really like this, I got to make one for myself, but then I got to give it to somebody. Somebody paid me to make it and I don't want to give it to them. I'm like, I want to keep this one. So
yeah, that's the worst part is
the bar I did with the wine forks on top. I think that was, while it was the most frustrating project, it was also the most rewarding, definitely one of my favorites. And anytime we're over at my sister-in-law's house, it's always kind of cool. And I kind of joke around with her and I'm like, hey, it's like, that's a cool bar. Where'd you get it? So, the best part about that one, the funny story with that was after the bar was made, and I actually, my brother-in-law came over with his truck and I opened up the garage, I revealed it to him, and I mean, she absolutely loved it. And so he went, put it in his truck, took it to the house, dropped it off, put it in there. And then the idea was we were going to go stock the bar because the bar at that point was empty. There was nothing on it. So we decided to go down to Bevmo and we went and we're like, oh, we're going to buy this and we're going to buy this. We're going to get this whiskey, this vodka. We're going to get this wine. And we're like, oh yeah, that's going to be really good. And my brother-in-law was there. We had our whole family there. We were going up and down the aisles of Bevmo, and we're loading up our carts with bottles. And I'm pretty sure people inside Bevmo were thinking, it's like, these guys are going to try and make a run for it. And as much fun as that was, the funniest part about it was we were looking at all these bottles. We put all the big bottles back, and we were looking at the small bottles because apparently my sister-in-law and my wife and everybody there were like, oh, we got the small bottles. It's going to look cute. We're going to do this. And I'm like, oh, God. So, but yeah, we spent 3 hours in Bevmo walking up and down the aisles looking for our favorite drinks and favorite spirits and things like that.
Gotta stock it.
Yeah. If you can't stock it, you can't use it.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yes, you have to keep it stocked if you want a bar. That's the reason I don't have one.
Well, and that's certainly the challenge now is trying to keep that thing stocked.
Yeah.
It's a handful, and as big as it is, you know, even when you go out and you buy a couple of bottles and, you know, you throw a couple of bottles of wine on there, it still looks empty.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, let's go back to the ski a minute. Now I'm intrigued. So when you made that thing, you talked about on your video, the magnets didn't quite work out the way you thought they were going to hold the shot glasses on there? Did you figure out another way to do that, or?
Well, the other way to do it was just to drill the hole all the way through.
Yeah.
which is what I did. I haven't played around with the magnets anymore. I haven't had the time with the number of orders that have come in for those. And everybody seems to be totally happy just putting the shot glass in the middle of the hole and just taking it that way. Nobody's actually gone and said, hey, can you put magnets on it? The magnets was just something I thought I would try. And it didn't really work the way I wanted it to. So everything I've done so far and everything done since then, it's just got the holes on it. But at the same time, it actually, I'll show you, it actually works pretty well to, I don't know if you can see it there.
Oh, the green? Yeah, I can see
on
it.
the wall.
Well, it's got Green Bay on it, but yeah.
Yep.
It's a Packers one. I apologize for anybody who is not a Packers fan.
I live right here in Wisconsin by
Yeah.
Green Bay. Green Bay, all right.
I live by Chicago, so it's a little different. So no magnets, just the holes, and they'll hold the shot glasses in there if you jam them in tight enough. Is that kind of the theory behind it?
Well, I used, I mean, I was hoping that the magnets would be strong enough to hold it there, but it wasn't. And I had the washers on the bottom. I thought that would be enough, but it was just, I mean, I guess if I got stronger magnets, it probably would. But the magnets that I used, like I said, it was just what I had laying around the house. So I tried to use what I had, and it didn't work. So I then had to go and take I really had to kind of like crank those things to get them out, because I used epoxy glue to hold them in, make sure they wouldn't go out. And so I had a hard time trying to get those things out of there. And once I did, I just went ahead and just drilled the hole all the way through.
Well, it might be tough to size them because I don't think magnets are like rated in shots, you know.
Well, actually,
they're Gauss. They're not, not rated in shots. So it might be a little tough to figure that out.
Well, I got some
myself here, but in my ski days back in the 80s, the mountains would have the shot ski too, and they had a rubber gasket inside the hole.
Yeah, rubber. Yeah, if you put an O-ring, if you put a slot with an O-ring, it won't come out.
It was just enough grip to hold the glass steady while everybody down their shot. So,
I don't know where I've been because I've never seen that before. That's why when I was looking at your video, I'm like, what the heck is that? I mean, is it something where you just like everybody's around playing pool or something, and that's where you store your shot glasses at while you're playing pool? I don't know. It was a big mystery to me.
Yeah.
Now it's a drinking game, so yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I never heard of them, never seen them, all the parties I've ever been in my life, I've never seen one used. Nobody's ever gone and like, hey, you want to take a shot on my shot ski?
You're gonna
Nobody's
come here
ever
to
said that to me.
Wisconsin and trip over them.
Yeah, Shotskis over here are like little pastries or something, you know.
I wonder
So
if we
the-
can bring a shot ski on the cruise.
Yeah, we should try that.
Yeah, the parties I went to when I was younger didn't use shot skis. We used bongs. I mean,
Well,
I'd like to
I'm
make-
just-
Is that like a bell ringing or something? Is that what it is?
I'd like to
just-
make one for pictures of beer.
yeah, I'm just kidding. I'm just
ooh,
kidding.
that's an idea.
Actually, I've never tried marijuana. I started when I went with work with the fire department when I was 18. So they did drug tests. So I never indulged myself. Had a lot of friends, but I never partaked.
There was
Jim Dockrell wants us to start all over again because he had to take the dog out and he lost and he didn't get to see.
And he took it out for absolutely no reason at all. Yeah.
There was a Mr. Rogers spoof that I just saw, and it was on a news channel, but it was basically Mr. Rogers goes into a dispensary. And at the end, he's saying something about, my friends keep saying or talking about bong. Is that like a big bell or something? But it was really funny because Mr. Rogers is going to the dispensary just anyway.
Eddie
I always
Murphy
get a
doing
kick
Mr.
out
Rogers.
when I have to drive up to Wisconsin for work. There's a bong recreation area. It's down. It's like Dixon. It's like right off 94. I think it's either south or just north of Milwaukee.
Is that a last name or is that an actual?
No, that's what it's called. Literally, swear to God, it's called Bong Recreation Area. And you just wonder what's going on out there.
Yeah, really.
We get bored up here in the winters.
So, hey, Jared, where do you see your channel going in the future? Do you want to keep doing this, or you kind of want to hang out with vagrants like us? Or what was the underlying factor of getting going with
Speak
this?
for yourself.
Oh, and do you want to go on a cruise? We got 0% off on a special for it.
I've heard about the cruise, and I've seen the videos on the scroll saw challenge, the pallet pallet upcycle challenge. So yeah. I'm definitely interested in that. I think it'd be kind of cool.
Whirligig Wars, don't forget that.
The what?
Whirligig Wars.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I haven't checked that out yet, but I'll have to.
Yeah, you make a whirligig, one of those things that in the wind that has got a propeller and
Yeah.
it does funny things.
Or
That would
if you're in
actually be
Florida
pretty fun
and
to
you have one in
look
your
at
middle of a
that.
storm and it doesn't turn, right?
Yeah. Actually, you needed to turn backwards so it'd blow the storm away.
Yes.
As far as where I see my channel going in the future, certainly I'm enjoying making videos and sharing some of the things that come up in the projects that I do along the way. Because I know there's other people out there that are like me that are doing the same thing, that are just working on stuff in their garage, and maybe they run into a problem, and maybe the video that I make maybe helps them solve it, or maybe the video I make helps them to find new ways to drink their shots. I don't know. It's a lot of fun, and you get to connect with other people that you wouldn't normally be able to meet or connect with, and certainly interacting with other channels, other woodworkers out there. You get a lot of inspiration from that too. So I definitely see myself continuing in the future. I'd like to hit that point where I could potentially start creating monetization for the videos. That would be awesome.
Yes,
but at the
please.
same time, this the whole YouTube thing, it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. So I'm certainly happy just to go along and enjoy it, and kind of enjoy the ride. And hopefully my video skills get better, and my woodworking gets better too at the same time.
Oh, I'm sure they will. I mean, I was binge watching Steve Ramsey videos today, and man, some of the stuff that he put out, his first stuff, and you could just see the progression over the years from him, that he's just gotten better and better.
Yeah.
part of that too is naturally your video editing skills get better when you've been doing it for a while, but also is getting more comfortable with being in front of the camera.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that's the other thing. I mean, I never really had, I was never really uncomfortable talking in front of people or being in front of people. Heck, for about 10 years, I actually had a DJ business, and I would DJ and MC weddings and house parties, you know, and I got very comfortable doing that. So being in front of a camera, it was a little different because now it's like, okay, well, it's not me putting myself out there for people to see. It's me actually going and recording this and having to review it and edit it. And I'm sitting there listening to myself, and it's like, oh God, I sound horrible. Oh my God, I can't believe I talk that way. And oh, what was wrong with me that day? I can't get my words out of my mouth. You know, so it's, you know, and then of course you add the human factor into there. So you have people who are on social media, and they now have the ability to, you know, give you a thumbs up or a thumbs down on that video. They can leave comments. And, you know, sometimes it's like, you know, you see some of the comments that people leave out there, and you're like, wow, you know, it's like that, and that was pretty harsh. You know, so you're kind of putting yourself out there, and I think that for me is probably the scariest thing. You know, is like you're putting yourself out there for people to criticize, whether that's good or bad, and you know, being able to not take those negative comments to heart, but you know, maybe take it and try and improve on it, or you know, do something positive with it. But that's probably going to be for me probably the hardest thing, is not to take those negative comments or negative you know, negative things the wrong way.
It's called trolling. There are people out there, yeah, they're trolls. They love going around and making you know, smart aleck comments on people's videos. I don't know why they do that. They have a poor, lonely life apparently, but they enjoy doing that.
What
I
bothers
usually
me
just ask them
is
where
the
their
thumbs
video
down,
is.
and people don't tell you why they gave you the thumbs down.
Yeah.
Right.
If you're gonna do it, I don't care.
Yeah, they should at least put it in there, Paul. At least force them to, why is this a thumbs down, I think.
Yeah.
But look at it this way. They give you a thumbs down, but they still watched.
Yep.
It has no
Right.
credibility. It has no credibility if they don't even have their real name there.
Exactly.
Right.
Doesn't mean
Jared,
nothing.
I've got a question for you. Do
Yeah.
you do it all yourself? Do you have a camera person? Do you have somebody else helping you? Because like in my case, I do it all. And I think that's harder if you do it yourself, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Russ does, right?
No, it's just me. You know, I try to get my kids involved into it, and they're like, no, Dad. You know,
Cool, Dad. Not cool.
yeah. My son's 19. He's working. He's going to college. My daughter is in high school, and you know, she doesn't got time for that. You know, so no, it's just me. But you know, I mean, there might come a time where, you know, maybe things, you know, happen to where I might need the help, or somebody may want to come and do it. But other than that, no, it's just me. I set the camera up and I just go for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the way I do. Luana Pierce joined us. Thank you for being. She had a blue screen of death and had to do something to her computer to get it to boot, but she's out there. And who else? Oh, Aussie Man was saying something about it's cheaper for him because of his camera. He keeps cracking his wife's camera lenses. I wouldn't want to do that. They could be expensive. Some of those lenses are quite hefty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they are.
I thought my camera was toast after I knocked it over on the tripod. Luckily, it survived. Yeah, they don't like concrete floors.
I think
No, I found that out the hard way, but it didn't break the lens, but the visor that goes around the lens took a nice chunk of plastic out of that. So
Yeah.
Well, you're lucky you had it on there, though.
3D printer.
exactly, it took the impact. So
Chris, that's why you buy a 3D printer.
Yeah.
I'm a craftsman, not a printer.
Oh,
Jared, I got a question. Have you gone actually ever had to go back and recut something because the video didn't pick it up right, or stage a cut that you forgot to do while producing the video?
Well, yeah. Actually, I got another project that I'm working on. Excuse me. My father-in-law he's got an RV, and he wanted to do a new table for it. So he brought it back with him this time he was here, and he was like, I just want to do a new table. So I'm like, okay, great. So I was making it, and my battery died. So there was and of course I didn't notice it right away, but there was about a good 5 or 6 minutes of work that I did, and it was kind of important to be part of that video, and it wasn't there. Yeah. And I thought, well, I'm not about to go and create another table just to get that 5 or 6 minutes of video. So I think I'm just gonna probably put do like a Monty Python kind of cutaway where it says intermission and there's some funky music playing and some crazy psychedelic graphics. I don't know.
And now for something completely different.
Yes. Absolutely.
No, I've done that. I was working on a video once, and when I started editing, I went to a certain clip. I know I had set it all up. Yeah, well, it helps to turn the damn camera on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chris has never done that before, right, Chris? Neither have I.
That has been the one that I've done. Is I go through the whole thing. I cut the board. I tell you how I cut it and everything else. And then I walk over and I look, and that little red dot is not there. And I'm going like, no.
Yep.
Yeah.
2 months worth of video.
You stage it all over again, even though you already cut the part.
Yeah, I usually just re-glue the board together and cut it again.
I just put a piece of scrap wood on the saw and recut it. So.
Yeah.
I've done that. I put a scrap piece on and cut the scrap piece to make it look like the piece I cut.
Yeah.
I won't say what my video is. It has it, but every time I look at that video, I say, right there, that was staged.
Well, that's the cool thing. Only you know about it. Nobody else does.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're not paying that. They're not that detailed. Not unless the board that you used in your project was red and you cut a green board. Now that's kind of obvious.
Yeah, right. Or your T-shirts like the different color or something like that. You know?
Yeah.
I gave up on that because I'll spread mine over 2-3 weekends. I only have the weekends in the shop.
Oh, so therefore you're never wearing the same shirt.
No, if I'm wearing the same shirt in more than 2 cuts, you know that I really need to do some laundry.
I can get washed every weekend, Chris.
We're getting
the very first videos I did. I did that. I actually purposely wore the same clothes 2 days in a row so that I could finish filming it because I felt it made that big of a difference.
Yeah.
Now, forget it. I don't care.
Yeah.
So,
I tried it once. Tried to wear the same shirt through the whole video. And as I was doing my editing, I gave myself away. I was wearing a different ball cap in 2 or 3 cuts. Really? All that work, I had a different ball cap on.
Pretty funny. All right, so we're winding down here. All right, so time for woodshop confessions, Jarod.
Oh, yeah.
So what you're going to do is tell us something that you did that was like really, really stupid. Blood and cut fingers, cut off fingers. Yeah, or really the best way to go. But no, something after you did it, you sit there and looked at yourself and went like, why the heck did I do that? So is there something you want to confess about?
Well, I still have all my fingers, all my digits, thankfully.
That's a good thing.
Let me think. I'm trying to think what it is that I did. You know what? Okay. So this is gonna my brother-in-law, if he's watching or if he catches wind of this, he won't let me live this down. He'll bug me about this till the day I die.
Well, we might too, so keep on going.
Yeah.
I'm taking notes.
Well,
there's a really good chance of it.
It's not woodworking related, but it sort of is. When I first bought my house, my garage was not decorated like it is. It was just your plain, just drywall. It didn't even have a primer coat of paint on the drywall. It was just, you could still see where they taped and mudded everything. So I was in the process of adding on some tool storage and things like that to my garage, and I was drilling a hole into the wall, and I was like, and for whatever reason, the drill stopped, but I wasn't far enough in to, I was just like, oh, I must have hit a stud. So I kept pushing to push the drill in. Well, I did, and all of a sudden it gave way. And as soon as I did that, there were sparks and there was smoke that just started pouring out from the wall. And immediately my wife comes running out and she says, "What did you do?" And I'm like, and she's like, "The lights are flickering off. Everything is just, everything was about ready to just," she's like, "Did the power go out? What happened?" And I'm like, "Oh, don't know." And I look at the hole in the wall and there's still smoke coming out from it. So I was just like, that's not good. I'm looking at the hole. My wife's looking at it and she says, "Jesus Christ." She says, "Is it on fire?" And I'm like, "I don't know." So then I thought, it's like, well, what is on the other side of this wall? And I'm like, there can't be anything there. There's nothing there. There's no plugs. There's no this. There's no that. Well, apparently on the other side of the wall is where they had placed on the exterior of the house. That is where the circuit panel is.
Oh my
and I said to
gosh.
myself, I said, "What?" I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, because in all the houses I ever grew up in, the circuit panel was in the back of the house. It wasn't at the front where before the fence line. It was on the back side of the house. So I realized it. I'm like, oh hell. So then I thought, oh crap. Well, the lights are still on, but then I'm like, but what about the thing that I just drilled a hole into? It's like, is that going to be a problem? I'm like, oh my God. And and my wife looks at me, she's like, "You know what you have to do?" And I'm like, I don't want to. He will never leave me alone. So I had to call my brother-in-law. He's an electrician. So I'm on the phone with him and I said, "Hey," I said, "Got a question for you." I said, this is what was happening and this is what happened. And, and I said, I'm kind of worried. What happened? Should I be worried? Did I just screw up royally? So he came down, he took a look and he's just like, well, he says, "Let me tell you what happened. Let me tell you what it could have cost you." So,
what did you end up drilling into?
Live that down.
It wasn't the main feeder, I hope.
If he didn't hit the main feed, it would have fried that drill bit.
Yeah.
No, well, it fried the drill bit. Apparently, there's bars that were in the wall, and it touched one of them, so it did fry the drill bit. But I did save the drill bit, and I actually put it on my wall with a little note that I hand wrote on there. It said, "Never forget."
But what did you actually drill into? The actual circuit panel itself?
It sounds like he
Not the
drilled
circuit
into that
panel,
main bar.
The bus. That sounds like the bus bar.
Huh? Well, if everybody be quiet, I might be able to hear him. What did you say, Jared?
There were, I forget what he said that they were, but I guess there's metal bars that come out from the circuit panel. And that's what I hit. So
The bus bar.
The bus bar.
One of the copper bus bars.
Yeah, that's called like 220 volts with almost an unlimited amps from the pole.
yeah, pretty much. That was kind of how we described it. Yeah.
No matter how much it would have cost, I would never call my brother-in-law to fix that. I would hire some electrician from the next town over.
I used to do a lot of repair. Our local cable company hired me to my company to do repairs for when their guys would go out and install cable and make boo-boos. Well, we would go out and take care of their boo-boos, and I got one real quick. Oh, and by the way, Jared, bless you that you don't have any more accidents again, like especially like that one. That could have fried your butt, by the way. Yeah, your hair would have been smoke would have been coming out your ears.
Oh yeah, no, that could have been really bad.
Yeah, fortunately, it was probably a newer drill, so it was double insulated, so that's what protected you.
Yeah. You're also lucky your brother-in-law didn't say, "Hang up and call the fire department." No.
Yeah. But anyway, so I went to this one that I thought was really, really funny, or kind of like what you're talking about, but it had to do with plumbing. So the guy was going to bore the hole through the wall to the outside to run the cable through for the TV, you know, the cable box and everything. So he took his drill and stuck it up against the drywall and started boring. Well, it just so happened to be on the other side of the wall was the outside faucet.
Oh.
So he drilled into the water pipe. So as he was drilling, all of a sudden water started going through the hole.
My brother-in-law just texted me and he said, "Funny story."
But
He is watching.
The woman that lived there said there was about a 4 to 5 foot stream of water shooting straight out of the hole into her living room and along the carpet and everywhere.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I've drilled in the water lines too. It's happening.
Yeah. Yeah, it helps to make sure that you know. But now, in that particular, I mean, if he'd have walked to the outside, he would have seen it. But sometimes they have like feeds going from one place to another room that are inside of a wall that you would never know. There's no receptacles or anything to show you that it's there. So you just have to be kind of careful.
No.
Yeah,
I don't do anything like that anymore.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
I think that one goes into top 5 easy.
Yeah. Yeah, that could have definitely been a disaster. Trust me. All right, guys, we're fixing to get ready to get out of here. So if you would like, those of you who are out there in the chat, and even y'all can participate on the panel, you too, Jarod, want to make you one of these, not this particular one, but I'll make you one and send it to you. I was going to do pick a number, but it's late as it is. It's it's 9:22 already. Just send me an email. Let's just do it that way. To contest@simplywoodencreations.com. Put in the subject line, give me sawdust plaque.
Give me sawdust.
Yep, give me sawdust plaque. And put your information, your name, address, and everything that I will need to ship it to you, and I'll pick somebody in the next day or so, and I'll send you one of these for free. I'll sign it, autograph it on the back. This one is a failed attempt, so that's the reason I used it on the front to try to get this and this one turned out real good, so I can produce these without any problem. So, but I'll make you one and send it to you.
Are you sending it worldwide free?
Am I sending it worldwide free? Yeah,
United States only.
Yeah, I'll send this worldwide free.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure that.
Yep.
That was what you were intending.
But yeah, send me an email to contest@simplywoodencreations, and in the subject line, what did I say? Put already forgotten. Yeah, sawdust plaque.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't.
Yeah, give me sawdust plaque or sawdust plaque. Either way, put sawdust in the so I'll know what it's for. Yeah, and I will send you. I will send this to you. I think it turned out pretty good. I'm really pleased with the dust on the side.
Like they said earlier, you missed some sawdust there, Russ.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it turned out pretty well. So yeah, I'll make you one of these and send it to you. I think it turned out really good. So, well, that's about all for tonight. I thank all of you who have been out there in the chat. Luana Pierce finally showed up. She's saying, "Sing, Russ, sing." So,
sing it, Russ.
Yeah. They're saying thank you to Jarod for you being on. Some of them are.
Thank you for having me.
Aussie Man says if he wins, he'll pay for shipping.
That's why I asked.
Yeah. So thank y'all for all being out there in the chat. I appreciate it very much. Just going back through Chris Nealon, Luana Pierce, Jim Dockrell, James Parker, Aussie Man. All those have been out there in the chat. And then, like I said, we had 30-something people over there. Over on Facebook, Alan Carter, Kevin Calhoun, Elvira De Jesus, that's Nancy's aunt. She was out there watching us. I had several relatives out there watching me tonight. My daughter was out there watching me over on Facebook. Appreciate that. Thank you, Amber. So that's about all we have for tonight. And don't forget to send me an email if you'd like one of those sawdust plaques. I'll be making some of them, playing around. I might even send I might be in a good mood and send somebody else one that I like, that don't give me a problem and a hassle about my pronunciation of names. I wonder who that would be. Actually, I have to say, of all y'all on the panel, Brenda gives me the less flack about it than anybody.
I need to say one more thing, if I may, to Jarod. Thank you very much, Jarod, for letting me do your shop.
This was a good show.
Oh, the alternate show. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, I was going to say he stole your background, so he should be thanking me.
I got the widescreen though. I don't know why mine's widescreen.
Yeah, and yes, thank you, Jarod, for being on tonight. It was really good, really fun, really informative, and I appreciate it very much. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed it as well.
And I think we did push you over the 100, didn't we?
We did. We did. I hit 100 subscribers, so or 103, I think.
Yes.
So to all the new subscribers out there, thank you. I appreciate it. And,
So, and for
I'll
those
have a new video upcoming soon.
For those of you who have joined late, by the way, Luana, if you're not already subscribed to Jarod on his channel, it's the Dad Cave on YouTube. Go over there and subscribe to him because we got him above 100, so he can actually apply for your authentic name, so to speak, in your URL.
Specialized link to your URL.
Yeah. Jim Dockrell says, thanks for us on the panel. All right. So thank you again, Jarod. Thank you, Brenda, Dixon, Al, Paul, Jim, and Chris for being on here tonight. There's only one thing we got left to do, and that is if you're too darn busy to get out in your shop and make some sawdust, you're just too darn busy. Just give me sawdust, lots of sawdust all around me and everywhere. I like it flying all around my shop and even in my beard and hair. Good night, everybody. Thank you for watching, and God bless.
All right, boys and girls, remember, you don't have to go home, but